My next guest is Queensland-born, but has gained international recognition in many of his achievements. Brenton Billy Simmonds won Mr. Universe at the 2009 Natural Bodybuilding Championships in Hollywood, California, and he's had lots to pinch yourself larger-than-life moments ever since. Like when Billy set two Guinness Book World Records on TV in Asia in front of more than 30 million viewers. Or when Donald Trump made him a celebrity judge for his Miss Universe pageant. Or playing a superhero as part of the live-action cast at Movie World on the Gold Coast. Billy's also a stuntman who holds a black belt in just about every martial arts, but he's definitely not your stereotype bodybuilder. He was a vegetarian when he won Mr. Universe, and now he's vegan and regularly campaigns in defence of animals. Let's learn more about Billy Simmonds. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
You've achieved a great deal. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the program.
Why are you so passionately vegan?
Well, I guess it comes from a place of kindness. I don't think that just we should exclusively be kind just to other people. I think that should extend to all living creatures and offering them an opportunity to live their lives in the way that's natural for them. So most people don't really relate to what they eat and perhaps where it comes from in the detail that I've done. But when you look at that, it's hard not to be confronted by what's behind it.
Do you wear leather?
No, I don't. I choose to support industry and support companies that make cruelty-free options.
So what are cruelty-free options?
Well, there's plenty out there, and there's some fantastic fabrics out there. And I mean, when we talk about cruelty-free options, that can be food. It can be also the clothes we wear. It can be the products that we use around our home or on our body as well. So more and more people are just realizing that through things like animal testing and using animal byproducts, that they're not necessarily in line with some of the ethical beliefs that they have, and that me being one of them. And so more and more there's options out there that you can choose products that are made from plant materials. You talk about fabrics. Hemp, for example, is a fantastic fabric that's there.
I've always been a huge campaigner of hemp, which is so much stronger and doesn't need as many chemicals to make it. But apparently, I'm told back in the day, in the 1800s or what have you, Mr. DuPont got in first and got his cotton going in Australia, unfortunately.
That's another fascinating story, DuPont.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Now, it's a myth then, Billy, that a vegetarian can't win a bodybuilding contest. In fact, you're the first since 1971 when Bill Pearl won. Oh,
you've fact-checked. That's correct. So Bill Pearl won it back then, and that's right. It hadn't happened again for many years. And so as a result, a lot of people wanted to know what were the sort of foods I was eating and why I was choosing to do it that way.
Yes, for sure. So aside from no animal-based products, no steroids, no performance-enhancing drugs either?
No, the competition that I entered, the federation, is the International Natural Bodybuilding Association. So I've had more drug tests than I care to remember. And I actually chose to specifically compete in the off-season of bodybuilding because you only typically compete at one time during the year. And the rest of the year, you're really left to your own devices. And so I actually, in that time, which is known as the off-season, I still competed in drug-tested federations for powerlifting, which is another sport that I've won some awards in. So I made sure that I was drug-tested all year round because I was able to progress quite quickly in the context of my competitive career in bodybuilding. And it seemed even more unusual being that I was, vegetarian. So I made a point of just putting myself out there and getting tested as much as possible and saying, actually, the diet, it's the training that's getting me these results.
The question that I know most people ask, and I was certainly a vegetarian for, I've been I'm now a vegetarian. I do eat fish and seafood now, but so many people, the first question is, where does your protein come from?
There's some amazing sources of plant protein out there. One of the best, I would say, is beans and legumes and lentils and pulses. They all belong in that family. And they're amazing. They're actually nutritionally complete. They've got fibre, they've got phytonutrients, protein, carbohydrates. They're actually a really complete food. They use a lot less energy to produce, so much less water, much less pollution is caused as a result of growing pulses for the food. And they actually have everything we need, so including protein. So that's one of my favourite sources.
They are a lot harder to prepare, though. A lot more time-consuming, I should say, not necessarily harder.
I guess I've gotten good in my years of baking them. And, in fact, I can go and buy a can from any supermarket these days for about $1.20. That's got more protein than a steak in it. And, those they're actually already prepared, so you can simply just rinse them and put them in a salad. So they're really convenient these days as well.
You have the honour bestowed, aside from Mr. Universe, Happy Cow's famous vegetarian.
Oh, yes, that's one of them out there. So they have a fantastic app, actually. If you've got an iPhone or an Android, you can download their app and it'll tell you where the nearest vegetarian vegan restaurants are in your area.
Oh, wow.
It's a handy little tool when I travel, actually.
Yeah, I'll bet it is, for sure. Now, you've been conducting some very special Strength in Kindness tour in high schools around Australia. Tell us more.
Well, most students, as they go through their adolescence and then into their adulthood, they're able to then really exercise the power that they have to make their own decisions about what they eat and the sort of things that they do. And so we're really just breaking down some of the myths out there around food and around health, and also explaining to them that there is a relationship between the food that they eat and the environmental consequences of that, as well as the ethical situation that stands behind some of the choices that they make. So it's a fantastic opportunity. It's for in defence of animals, and it's really just giving a voice to animals that don't have a voice out there. And so it's been really well received by schools. We've been asked to come back in many cases, and next week I'm speaking at Miles High School, which is in Southport High on the Gold Coast.
Oh, that's a bit of a hoot. 170 Year 11 and 12 students.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it's their 100th year anniversary as well. So it would just be great to go back there, and it's been a long time since I've been there. In fact, 20 years.
Wow.
So yeah, it would be great to get back there. But it's really just giving these kids some knowledge to make the best choices that they can make. That's right for them. That's in terms of their health. If they share any concerns about the environment, then we all have the power to make better choices that can really lead us towards a better future.
I'm hoping you teach young girls that cutting out animal protein does not make you a vegetarian.
Well, that's right. There's many different terms out there. I heard one this evening, a flexitarian, and that's just eating whatever you feel like.
Yes.
So there's many different ways to spin it.
Yeah.
But
what I mean, sorry, Billy, what I mean is that young girls, and I've come across it so often, they go, I've decided to be a vegetarian. So all they've done is cut protein out of their life. They haven't substituted it for animal-based protein. They've just simply cut out meat.
You're quite right. So if you're going to remove a particular food group out of your diet, then it's always good to replace that. So if you're going to take meat off your plate, then replace it with some lentils, some chickpeas, or some other amazing foods out there, plant-based foods that have got protein in there and also contain iron. So there's more iron in kale than there is in per gram than there is in meat. So there's certainly a lot of foods out there that provide the same nutrients that you may not get if you're having those animal-based foods. In fact, they're better absorbed by the body, but they they've got to learn what those foods are, and that's what we cover, actually.
Not only are your talks free, but each host school, you personally donate $300 to a local farmed animal rescue sanctuary.
That's right. These farms are a really amazing endeavour. They're usually a labour of love. They're giving these animals that have been rescued or, in some cases, escaped from the animal industry, such as food and dairy businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And these animals are given a second lease on life. And often they have pretty poor qualities of life because of what they've experienced prior to being at the farm. But it really gives students a way to see how these animals interact with each other and with themselves. And it's different to a zoo. These animals are able to exercise free will. They're able to live out the lives the way that they're intended to, as best as they can. And it's just a great way for students to interact and just build a connection between these animals. Most of these animals are much like the domesticated animals we've got. If they're given the opportunity, they're very highly intelligent, emotional beings, and most students can start to then appreciate that the steak they order or the bacon that they order actually comes from these animals that are capable of love.
You are open to adding more dates to address more schools. How can people get in touch?
They can get in touch by going to idausa.org/strength-in-kindness.
Right.
That website, www.idausa.org, has got all the information on there.
Excellent. Now, you've been a guest speaker for Green Earth Day and World Animal Day as well. But, of course, the one I'm dying to find out about is, did you meet Donald Trump?
No, I haven't met Donald, and I may never meet him now that he's potentially the next leader of the free world. So
that's right, because he sold his Miss Universe contest, didn't he?
Did he? Okay, yeah, I believe so. So now it's a franchise out there, and that was a great opportunity that I had. So the Mr. Universe and the Miss Universe are very different competitions. Ours is based on muscles. Theirs is based on beauty and brains and different attributes. But nevertheless, I would always enjoy the opportunity to meet him if it ever happened.
Yes, my very, very word. That would be great. Before I let you go, what would be your, I guess, your top environmental message that you'd like us to take?
Okay. We can all have the power to change the future of both our health, the way the environment is being affected by food industry, and also support. We can all support farmers, but we can support farmers that are growing foods that don't involve cruelty to animals, that still provide us with all of the nutrition that we need.
And your top health tip?
Eat more plants.
Of course. Billy Simmonds, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. I appreciate being on the program.
Oh, anytime. It's been an absolute delight. If you've just joined us, you've just missed my interview with Billy Simmonds. You can, it will be podcast from Monday, so you can certainly tune in and have a little listen there. He's a former Mr. Universe, but of course he is vegan. He's very much in defence of animals. And if you would like him to come and talk to your school, for instance, and he will donate $300 to a local farmed animal rescue sanctuary for every school he speaks to and at. You can get in touch with him through idausa.org. That's indefenseofanimalsusa.org. idausa.org is how you get in touch with Billy. I do need to take a break, and we will come back with your calls and, of course, lots more of the program. You're listening to 2GB and News Talk 4BC.